Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm okay. Say, one of my subscribers, friends, wrote some messages to me, some comments. I didn't even get any notifications on them. I went and looked in my YouTube studio. If you are my friends from Russia, perhaps they're blocking stuff that you're trying to write. I'm not sure, but I got your one message, and there was some things that Doug wrote on, like my last couple videos before that. So, um, I don't know, but try again. And if you can't get through, I don't know, maybe try on Facebook. Just look me up over there. Anybody here is more than welcome to come over there. A lot of times there'll be some either good articles or at least some funny memes through the day that I share that never fails. I have a couple people that continuously, I mean, like one in particular, almost every day, the first person I see is this person making people laugh. You just can't beat that. And he's totally funny. Um, so that really is a way to start your day out. He's got kind of I won't call it a sick sense of humor because he's a really healthy, sweet-minded family person. So, that type. He's a dad. I think probably, I think his kids are like maybe teenager, getting older a little bit. So yeah, just a really nice guy. A guy with some crazy hair. One of his daughters got his crazy hair too. It's sort of reddish. His is red. Hers is more kind of reddish, but it's got the curls. It's just so funny. He's got one picture of himself hanging upside down, and his freaking hair is just like it's out there. So yeah, he's a character. So anyway. Oh, I got some people hating me. My message is he heavy and he's your brother? Are you carrying him? Or he ain't heavy, he's my brother? Or is he a burden and you're part of the Cain blood and you could care less about being your brother's keeper? Yeah, that's mostly what I've been running into. Not with people that love me, obviously, but the people that don't. So yeah, I just became their enemy because I'll speak on, you don't teach the younger generation to do things in their life that's going to cause them harm. And I'm not changing my mind on all this. And go ahead and hate me. I'm not here to fit into this world anyway. And if you have God in your heart, you're not going to fit in this world. So let them do what they're going to do. They can party without you. We can have our own parties that just won't include the vile things and the filthy conversations. So, yeah. Oh, anyway, there's a lot of people out there thinking that they're Christ themselves and, like, you don't have it in you, and their superiority is so, like, it doesn't matter if they're teaching you wrong or anything. It's just their ego trip that they think they are something they aren't. But they're not standing up for what is good and righteous and pure on this planet. So, if you're not going to do that, that isn't who you are. So just stop pretending, you know. Cheers, everybody. Yes, we all have that in us. And there is no man on this planet that is God. And I think everybody knows that. You didn't make yourself, neither did I. Yeah. But furthermore, if you're not scientist enough to even start to begin to explain what life and biology, let alone spirituality, like the Akashic records or how you tap into that, or any, if your knowledge base isn't deep enough to explain something to somebody, then once again, you're not that either. So, yeah. Okay, can you tell me how to guard my body against microorganisms? No, you can't. Once again, that's not you. So, just thought I'm not putting you down. If you're here listening to me and you're understanding what I'm getting at here, that if you want to play the role of Christ and walk in his footsteps, you have to be Christ-like. You can't be satanic and pretend you're Christ-like and think that I'm not going to say anything to you. And if you feel like you're being attacked, oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. When you're hurting people, you should be attacked, but obviously you aren't, and you're still breathing. So consider yourself blessed, you know? Anyway, so yeah. I follow a lot of psychiatrists, and I wouldn't say life coaches. They have to be a bit more than just a life coach. Um, you better have an awful lot of chutzpah behind you before I take credence in your words. But for the people that know me well, I've talked about depression before. I haven't been depressed for, oh, I'm going to say about 30 years like that. And great amounts of sorrow can cause depression. I don't believe, personally, for me, I wouldn't consider it a clinical diagnosis. Even when I went to try and get some help with that, they tried to push pills on me, and you can't take a pill for that. Only God in your heart can help you with that. So, as far as being clinically depressed, great amounts of torment, torture, if you've gotten beat up or brutalized or went through some really bad things in your life, say if you had a child die, or I mean there's not to laugh about that, that's not funny, but that was a nervous laugh. But I mean, if you've had real horrible things happen to you in your life, depression is a natural reaction. If you've had lost loved ones or had a falling out with loved ones or wherever the case may be, um, what some people would call the dark night of the soul. Yeah, if you get so down and out, luckily, God will usually send an angel into your life to help you out with that type of thing. And that's what I've noticed. It's like if I start getting bummed out, there will be somebody to help pick me up. So it's really hard to just say, here's a diagnosis for somebody with emotional issues when a physical thing can become, or when an emotional thing can become physical. That's that depression that you can't get yourself out of, that type of thing, then that becomes serious. But great amounts of sorrow can't be clinically helped it can only be helped by people that definitely care about you. You know, if you have deep sorrows, the only thing that's really going to help is say like you come to me and you tell me something horrible that happened to you, and by my way of saying, um, I really am sorry to hear that happened to you. Do you need a hug? Or you know what I'm saying, or here's a cup of coffee. Let's just go sit out at the picnic table and enjoy the day. That's the best we can really do with our friends, is just kind of say, hey, we're here for you. We understand that there is no magic pill to take away from the sadness in our hearts, but we can help lift each other up in those areas. And if you're following people that you get a darker vibe off them than you do something that's going to benefit you, you're probably following the wrong people, which I have done, you know, admittedly. So I have a tendency to try and see something in people that just isn't there, that they just don't care about because it's not there. You know. So once we get attached to people, it's like, well, it's hard to give up on them, is what I'm saying. But sometimes we have to put that separation between us and other people if they're going to hinder what we're trying to do on this planet. So I've had to set feelings aside that I had for people and say, well, I'm on a mission here, and it doesn't include being stifled by anybody's nonsense or what they think of me, what people think of me for speaking out against porn because that's what they do. Look, you can't rewrite your own religion. That's Antichrist. That's exactly what's going on this planet. And no, for me, it isn't hard for me to get away from the worldly ways and what the people do together out in this world. For some people, I've heard it's very difficult to make that separation. Hey, good luck with that, for real. That's never been an issue of mine. So, yeah, it's not in my background at all. So, yeah. So just keep that in mind if you're following people and the vibe you get off of them, if they're uplifting you more, or you can see a sense of somebody really trying hard to like touch your heart or talk to you on a daily basis or whatever, like I'm trying to do with people, or people that I know that have been extremely de-stressed without any relief, that type of thing. Let me be one of your go-to people to at least every day I'm going to tell you I love you, because I do love everybody like that. So, but once again, we all have Christ in our heart and we all have God talking to us continually, you know. Yeah. And people that pretend they don't, well, in my mind, I'm not saying these are God's words, this is my words. You are worth less. Some people might find value in what you're saying, and you can put on a good show, but you're still not of great substance to help gather God's children and give them a uplifting message instead of bringing them down, you know. And that is a big difference in people. So, and once again, if you find it hard taking yourself away from the ways of the world, Well, just keep this in mind. If you're not calling upon God, that other entity in his dark half are the ones that are going to be leading you. And I've seen that a lot. So, it's pretty easy to recognize the people with the ways of the world and the people that don't struggle with those ways like they do. So, what would be the difference in those things? Well, it could be substance abuse, could be ego. Um, there's probably a lot of varying reasons why they're not quite getting the message, the Christ Spirit. I know a lot for men and women. It's really difficult for them. Uh, a lot of men and women have a matriarch and patriarch hatred and want to take that persona on for themselves in the most satanic ways and pretend in this world that that's who they are and Satan loves that. He loves you. Not enough not to kill you, but he loves what you're doing for him. In his eyes, you're doing a really good job. In my eyes, you're doing a really good job for him too, because you're not talking about the issues that matter that are going to help other human beings lead a full life um, in a family-minded way on this planet like we were made to be. And if somebody's not leading you like that, they're leading you wrong, whether you have a family or not, because that is what makes the world go around. Anything else is fake, you know. Oh, yeah. I would just like look at somebody's videos if I was interested in what they were saying and see how far back they were saying it. Um, do they have God in their heart? Are they science minded? Logically so. Biologically speaking, um, are these their concerns in life, or is it more of a self-centered, self-driven display of something? I don't know what to attract people to them. You know, I don't know what it is for each person individually. You know, so but yeah. So I'm trying to gather around me people with only with God in their hearts and the logic that follows. And here's something too. There's the scientific community. And here I'm going to say it, and if for you ones that are doctors or professors, because I know I have a few doctor friends here, hi. I love you, I appreciate you, but please just take my words and don't take offense with them. But this is the truth. A lot of the scientific community have I would call a double standard. You believe that in order to be a scientist, that there's a separation between God and science, when the whole scriptures is full of science. And actually, the spirituality behind that is a part of science, the supernatural. Spirituality has probably, well, the majority of what we are can't even be seen, is my belief. So to separate a physical science from the spirituality, they're leaving out part of the equation that makes up the human condition. And I've heard plenty of scientists say that in order to be a scientist that they would have to believe that there is no God. I believe just the opposite. In order to understand science, you have to know there is a God, and then he'll help you understand those sciences even deeper, such as like if you're talking like particle physics, or if you're talking like microbiology, you're going to have a deeper understanding, or animal husbandry, you're going to have a deeper understanding on the physiology of those animals. If you have God in your heart, you're going to be more guided by that. With well, yeah, and then I heard some professor, doctor, professor say that how did he word that? Oh, that there was no place in science for the study of God. Well, then how do you describe the Christian scientists, you know? And even back in the 70s when they had their own word press that they'd get out to everybody, and we were all communicating across the world with sciences and incorporating the Scientology of God and science. I'm not talking the new wave church that they have that they call Scientology. I'm talking about actual science with the format of God-based science and Christianity within that. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people that believe on that level. So I wouldn't say that it's absent out of science or that there's a separation in the two. I believe that there's certain people that I don't know if it's that they lack faith, because I won't say that, because I know there's people that I can see they have faith. They know they didn't create themselves, but within their science that they've studied or mastered, or however close you could get, like to the human psyche, if we're talking psychological. Well, how closely related too with biology and the physiology of a person and their psyche, because the two can be so intertwined, you know. And then we throw in spirituality. Yeah, but it's easy for scientists to deny God and speculate about God, and in their practices and in their clinics, um, it's almost strictly forbidden that you could incorporate God within that. What if you went into a clinic of a medical doctor and their first premise of your care was incorporating God in your care? If they had God in their heart before they looked at you and actually even started to analyze what was going on with you by what you're telling them first, and then what they could examine physically from you to incorporate those two things. That's even without the spirituality, but that's just first starting with the physician themselves having that spirituality with them in them. I believe gives them the upper hand, because they have a deeper insight to the whole human being on those three different things, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, being the flesh, okay, the spiritual, the physical, and the ethereal. on those three levels, being the Father, what is everything, being the physical, and the Mother being the spiritual, and the Son being a twat. No, being the dark force that is in play, and he's got a female half just like God and Mrs. God. So some people think that they're actually maybe guided by the Christ Spirit, and in all reality, you're talking to the other one. Yeah. So I know people that are, that's what I'm saying. If you don't have a science mind, you're not talking to the one that knows the biology of that physical self. Or if you can't explain the building blocks of life and don't have an understanding of that, that's not you. So just thought I'd tell you all that. So anyway, everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Cheers. And I do love science, and I know a lot about it. And I always told people, okay, so if you're like a master in psychology, and that's what you've learned, you should be able to take what you know and take a little 5-year-old and make an issue known to that child in so many words, in so amount of, you know, um, you should be able to explain it that a child could understand it, because that would be your deep understanding of that. So if you have a deep understanding of something, is what I'm saying. It's like mechanics. Somebody could say, well, I know mechanics. Okay, so you can tell me how the running gear works and how that pushes the pistons and the rods up into the engine, up into the head, and that's how that ignites and that type of thing, like a human physiology. You can explain that to me in so many words. You have that deep of an understanding of it that you can articulate that to a small child, and they will get a concept of what you're trying to say about that machinery. That's what you're telling me. That's who you are. But then again, if you're not, then who's guiding you, you know? And do you care? um, if you lead somebody astray, is that going to reflect on how you get treated? I bet it will. At least from what I've noticed on this planet, that when people portray something or say something out on this planet, it's for a reason, and you can expect a reaction. Like I ran across somebody yesterday, and I know she must have wanted a reaction from somebody. But I don't even know why I ran across this stranger. It was just out in the middle of whatever land, and I know everybody thinks just like that, but not everybody's involved in science and biology and um, the Word of God. So you just can't pick and choose, can you? But there is nothing wrong with trying, and we all should carry that Christ spirit within us and portray that for the world as friends. I 100% agree with you on that. But your science is lacking. So, no, it's not you, you know. So anyway, but I guess I was meant to run across certain people because I have to see for myself what's going on in order to be able to talk about it, you know. That's kind of the way that goes. I don't wish any bad on anybody, but when God speaks to your heart and he'll say like stop now, you know, and you don't, there we all have to pay to play. I mean, whatever you do, when God tells you no and you continue to do something, it's not a matter of what you're going to do in your own time, because there is a reaction to every action, no matter what. Do you ever notice that? Like you say something to somebody and they're going to say something back to you. That's just the way it goes on this planet, you know. But I know when God talks to my heart and he'll say, that's enough of that. And if I rebel, well, then things will get worse. In one way or another, we learn our lessons no matter what, is what I'm saying. If I could stop people from having to go through harder times than what they're putting themselves in for a penny, in for a pound. But if I could stop that from happening to you, I would. I would try. I'm trying. I'm not trying to try you, but I am trying to get through past that ego, you know. And anybody that knows me well knows that my ego was like, psh, I will do just weird and crazy things to make you laugh and show you no, I don't carry that ego like that. That isn't me, you know. So anyway, want to see my socks? I had somebody just, wow, really put me down because I showed them my socks. They were striped. I love striped. I love weird socks. Yeah, I'll show you them. Check that out. Aren't those cool? Yeah, my geometric ones. So, yeah, I love my weird socks. I- Back in the day, back in the 70s, they started coming out with toe socks. I don't know if any of you are old enough. They have them again. I saw them online. But yeah, some of them would fit and some of them wouldn't. It just depended, you know. Or they would be comfortable. I had these ones that I just loved. They were brown and gold, but I wish they had been a different color. But um, yeah, they were comfortable. I loved them. Then I would wear those in side of other ones when it was cold out. They were just great. So yeah, but yeah, I like socks. I like clothes. I still got a new dress I gotta wear one of these days. Might be coming up. It's gotta be a warm day. It's a sundress, so one of them that I got for this year. But I know the doctors that watch me love science. Anybody else love science? I do. I just really, really love it. Would somebody that claims they are the Christ Spirit, wouldn't they be able to tell you um, talk of biology or microbiology or particle physics or anything like that? I think they would. Doctors, raise your hand. Even psychology, we have to, as medical students, take that the first year. So you'd kind of be, even with the physiology and the psychology mixed up in there, you'd have a full knowledge of how animals are comprised, you know. At least I would think so. Oh, let me guess. The Christ spirit is brain dead, and it couldn't even learn mechanics or biology or animal husbandry or microbiology or anything like that because it died and came back to life and it didn't know anything the second time around. Yes, that's exactly what's going on, right? Yeah, I know. It's okay. I love you anyway. Welcome to my chain smoking YouTube channel, or like Dr. Sam says, YouTube. That was funny. He's Jewish. He has the right to say that. Oh, anyway. Very funny, Sam. I loved it. Nothing like listening to a sadistic psychiatrist. No, or excuse me. Sorry, sir. Slightly sadistic. Yeah. I went to my doctor and he was so cruel and he kept laughing all the time at my psychosis. Why you keep doing that? Yeah, it is rather funny, isn't it? See, I'm not claiming I'm a professional on your mind, although I am, but I'm claiming I am a professional on your heart. And yes, I am. Um, whether it's full or it's lacking or whatever. Yeah, I'm that person. And I can prove it. Yeah. Yeah, I got medical articles I've written over on morgellon.org to help people with their health, and they're very old. It's not, I mean, it's from um, mm, close to 50 years of research. Um, and I started this battle against the dark cabal when I was 12. So I don't know who you're claiming to be, but that's not it. You aren't the one that was working with scientists at a very young age and those types of things. To be out here now like this today for that reason, but um, at least I got a little bit of a chuckle out of it. You know, because Satan already warned me that most people are thinking like that. They think they're God, you know. No, I don't. I know there's one Almighty that guides my heart. If you believe the same way, then I can consider you my friend. But once again, if you're teaching the false religion, that we're just throwing out the commandments, we're just throwing out the seven deadly sins, and anything goes, and Christ died for your sins, so you're going to be okay no matter what. If you're teaching that to people, I can't consider you a friend. You're doing more damage to people than is acceptable in the eyes of God, and that's my very informed opinion. Um, observation, you know. And I've sadly seen that out of a lot of people. Oh, yeah, I'm Jesus Christ Himself, but I don't care about you. I don't care about science. I don't care about health. I don't know anything about it, but I'm Christ. Oh, yeah, you know everything about everything, don't you? You were there at the beginning. You're the Word. Word. Yeah, bird brain. So, anyway, wouldn't the Christ Spirit be highly intelligent? Wouldn't you think? The people of God would have substance behind them that wouldn't harm other people and deceive other people. Making your own religion isn't going to cut it. God isn't a religion. He loves everybody. So number one, what we call the Christ Spirit really isn't based in any religion. It's in every human being, just a matter of the amount that you have in you. And what are you actually doing to help other people? Or are you harming them? Pretending you're not harming somebody, um, and you feel threatened in life, you should. You absolutely should. I still have just one word for you, millstone. That's all you are, is a millstone, dragging people away from their true selves and the knowledge that God's trying to instill in other people. Do you think He wants you to be stupid? Do you think that He wants you not to be able to understand um, what your cells are made out of or how they're held together? Um, the one bacterium that started all life, uh, and what that's comprised of, and the dirt that was injected in there by Satan for his control over you with those parasites within yourself. Yeah, God wants us to understand all that stuff so we can tell other people how to protect themselves. That's what the Christ Spirit does. We protect people. We don't just go out there and blow our own horn like we're something on that level of God. No, you're not. No, I'm not. Nobody is. Let's put it this way, is it a form of narcissism if you can actually back up what you're saying and um, you have the intellect to do that? Or if you're on a worldly vibrational level and trying to portray yourself as something you aren't, Christ sat with the sinners 2,000 years ago is not the same anymore. There is a separation of the wheat and tares, and that's what we're doing here. And for if you don't know, a tare is a wild grass that grows that has absolutely no nutritional value. It's a larger head of wheat, but there's nothing there. Back in the 70s, the Russian uh, ecological scientists were working with the scientists here, and they developed a spore um, head of grain that was mixed with the tare that a lot of countries incorporated into their wheat. It's a bigger yield of wheat, but it's still fake. It's not actually wheat. It's kind of like the people nowadays. It's like you have a mixture of this, you have a mixture of that, but how much value is that head? Um, is it going to give nutrients to somebody? You know, that type of thing. And that's the separation going on, you know. And if you're not caring and caring for other people in that respect enough to study science and help people, I'm not going to say that you aren't of the Christ Spirit. I'm going to say that's not you once again. So, but if there is something about you and you have your gifts and you know you do, by all means share those because that is a part of who you are. You know, it's part of who I am. But in order to claim a position, you would have to truly be worthy of that and be able to display that in every respect. No matter what genre is talked about on these platforms, you should be able to talk to every person in the world on that level. You would think, right? Well, like Christ said, he's was in the world but not of the world. How worldly are you and how hard do you struggle with those worldly things? If it's a major struggle for you, um, I do wish you well. But Christ isn't out here struggling with worldly things like that. It's not even there, you know. That was overcame, you know. That's not what's going on this time. This is a war, people. And you better be the ultimate warrior before you pick up your sword in every way, physically, mentally, spiritually. I mean, you better be badass before you pick up that sword. I mean, truly. Otherwise, you're really just a puppet or a muppet or, you know, something on that level. Because you're pretending to be somebody you're not. Yeah, you can know things that have been written, but how sharp are you when it comes to picking something up? Um, like I say, scientifically, or like, wouldn't you have certain attributes or gifts or something that you could display that you could actually say, God's leading me in this area, and I can back it up by science. and I can explain it to you. And like I say, he's guiding me, so I have that guidance. I'm not doing that myself. This is a gift that he's helping me with, so I can help you. And then the people that are of that mindset would understand, hey, that's right, because I can understand what she's saying. You know, it's like if somebody called me and asked me a question about mechanics, I would be able to um, talk to them on that level or explain something to them that they don't know. If it were about science, I would be able to talk to you on that level, or your heart or your mind, them type of things, things that are physical or things that are spiritual. You know, I would be able to give you my insight on that. That is from God. And you would carry those gifts and you'd be able to display them to the world. I used to think it was weird before I learned a lot about mechanics. I did take the Air Force tests. I could have been a general or whatever. My level of understanding of electronical and mechanical is superior to most people, I would say. Maybe not everyone. But I used to think it was really weird how these men would refer to like their vehicles as a she or whatever. And then when you really find out how a vehicle is put together, like building my own car from the ground up or whatever, and the components, how they move and whatever, when you have a deep understanding of that, it really is very much like the human body in a lot of respects, and it's kind of cool. I still wouldn't call my car a she or a he, whatever, but I can see how some people would feel like that after building a vehicle, you know. Yeah, still a little weird, but you know. So if you're doing worldly things and making up your own religion, that is going to draw people away from pretending that a sin isn't a sin. You are of the world. If you struggle with that or have struggled with that hardly, very hard in the past, if you find it very hard to let go of those type of things, you're not really close to Christ and you're not giving a sound representation of that for other people. Um, give glory to God. That's not you, you know. It's Him. It's all Him. And once again, if you can explain any of the sciences, if you really have no grasp on human behavior and those types of things, you might want to be quiet a little bit. Maybe just talk about your daily routine or something like that, because you're doing a disservice to people with your fake religion that is antichrist. When you call something that's bad good and teach other people that, uh, you're of the world and you don't hold that position, and you never did, and you never will, because it's not you. It's not who you are. We're all a part of God, so I'm not just saying, well, hey, just because you never studied science or whatever, like you're a low life or anything. I'm not saying that at all. You could be a perfectly wonderful person that Satan has gotten his foot in the door and convinced you that you're somebody you're not, you know. Because I can't stress it enough, if you're teaching people that lust isn't a sin, you're the Antichrist. And if you struggle with that at all, you're not Christ. Come on. It's a fact. It's possible for people to lower your gaze and turn the other way and not participate in the ways of the world. And if you do, I certainly wouldn't broadcast it. I mean, if you have God in your heart and you're truly trying really hard to be a healthy human being, stable in that area, I do wish you the best. Of course I do. It doesn't mean you won't ever become what we're supposed to be. Just means that you're struggling in areas where the true Christ spirit would not struggle, you know. I've had a lot of people try and come at me with this porn thing. No matter what you say, you're not going to make something that destroys family and people and everything else something good when it isn't. You're not going to ever, ever put me down because I'm exposing you for the dirt that you're doing to other people. If you kept your mouth shut and you weren't broadcasting it to the whole world, I wouldn't feel the need to say anything to you. You bring it upon yourself. Surely isn't a game. Once again, if you feel threatened by me, you should then. Because number one, I would never hurt you, and just by telling me that you feel threatened by me, that does make my temper want to hurt you. I still won't, but it doesn't take the twinge of that feeling in there. Yeah, I got Satan controls the flesh, so that tinge, I override it with the Christ spirit, but that tinge comes in. Luckily, I am a martial artist and I can subdue that and I can control my emotions a lot better than most people I've ever met in my life. But, and you don't want to really cross that, but you can pretend it's funny and you can try and put me down for my values. But you're either worthy or you're not. On that note, I mean, I care about your soul. But if you don't care about me and what I'm telling you that is true and righteous, and I will judge you on that, I will judge who I want in my life and why, and if not, why, and if you're harming other people, how I can stop you from harming them. Yes, you made an enemy out of me then. I didn't make an enemy out of you by following the Word of God. You need to get that part straight. Just by saying that somebody, oh, well, because what you're doing, you see you're righteous, but then taking an actual righteous person and trying to paint them with your dirty brush. No, dude, that's you, not me. So don't sit there and pretend that you're of God when you're of Satan and you're preaching satanic ways and then trying to attack somebody that doesn't lie, doesn't cheat, doesn't teach people wrong. That's never going to work for you. you're going to cause yourself more distress. And I'm sure you know that. If you don't, I know you will. I prayed about it. Prayed for your understanding with God in your heart, or to get what you deserve either way. That is up to you. And either way, I will see the outcome. I always do, one way or another. But if you want to go along with the lies of this world and pretend that I'm bad just to make yourself feel better, you can have fun with that for a little while, and you can laugh at me and you can mock me all you want to mock me. Still not going to make you me. I don't know another woman that felt like crying when a man was looking at her wrong. Do you know anybody like that? Whatever. I've had that in me since I was a baby. You can't claim that spot because that, once again, isn't you. And it might be. For the ladies out here listening to me, I am not trying to put you down. I am battling, in particular, men that watch porn with their wives, trying to teach other people that there's nothing wrong with it, when we all know that it's very damaging to other people. And a person of God would never teach another human being that that's appropriate or okay, or that God's going to overlook any of that, because he isn't. And that's not what is the personal makeup of a person of God. And once again, for my cigarettes or my swearing or whatever, if I get radical, my channel is never made for children or the youth in this world. Talking to younger people, yeah. Helping you in your hearts, yep. But and telling you of my morality, that is a real thing, that you probably could not even sit in the same room with me and handle the look in my eyes, because I can hear your brain. Luckily, I feel your heart too, but I'm just telling you who I am, you know. Don't believe me? Go ahead and try it. Yeah, I've seen it all my life, so it's not anything new to me. This isn't something that I just started like 10 years ago or something. Like, I was born this way, like they say. And my only pronoun is I'm a female, a real one, and I know that chromosomes matter, you know. There's a lot of confusion about that out on this planet nowadays, isn't there? Yeah. Have you ever struggled in that area? Yeah, I can tell. Uh, you either know or you don't know. But if you don't know anything about humans and you're just out there living in your fairy tale and working for Satan and thinking you're not, it really isn't going to go very well for you. You're talking to the other spirit. So, because if you weren't, you would have that mind. you know, you'd be able to prove it, you know. Oh, let me guess. Like I said, Christ just came to this world, but he doesn't know anything about human biology or psychology or any of the sciences, particles, nothing, nothing, electricity, nothing. I get a kick out of these people. You have to have a positive to have a negative, no sparky. You just need one wire, a ground wire, like God. That's all you need to have your electricity. I mean, now what it comes in contact with and how that affects you after it gets you, that's a whole nother thing. But you don't need the good or the bad to have them both. You don't need the dark or the light to see the light. No, you don't. It can be all light. It can be a ground wire. It can be one thing. And that's how it began. Like hydrogen, like H2O and H2O2. Hydrogen and air mix the two, constitutes water, the two parts that were one separated. Well, there's more to that, but I'll just leave it there. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Whatever. Just like mechanics, very similar in a lot of respects. But if you think about how like a atom was split, so they say they could split an atom. The scientists say they can split an atom. Well, they haven't actually proved it. They just said they could. Well, God said he split. While Adam slept, he took a rib and formed Eve. Um, Out of that, that does not make her a man. Still makes her female. It doesn't make her lesser. It makes her something different. You know, it's like gas and water or gas and air. Um, if you put those two things together in either sequence, you can make something entirely different in alchemy, you know. And that's the whole study of all the sciences and how well you would know that as an alchemist might have another clue on what your personality is and who you actually are and whether you grasp that or not, you know. Yeah, it's important. So I am going to get this uploaded. I just want to make it very clear that if you're teaching worldly ways and pretending that you're Christ, that's not who you are. And you're the Antichrist making up a new religion that's teaching people that sin is okay when it isn't. And it does harm us. And it's psychosis. Yeah, it is. It seems like there's a lot of people ignoring that fact out here and struggling with it. How are we going to help them? What are you going to do to help them? Are you carrying your brother's load for him when he's down and out? Or are you kicking him when he's down? What the hell are you doing? Wouldn't you want your brother to have a healthy marriage? or your sister? How are you instructing them to do that? You would recommend porn in a marriage? What are you? It's crazy. You don't do that to other people. You say you love people? That's not love. That's lust, number one. Any way you paint it, you're not helping another human being, you're harming them. Just keep it to yourself and stop pretending you're of God until you actually are. Just be a regular Joe out there. Don't claim a position that isn't yours, because the true owner's going to come and tell you better. Antichrist. You'll never, ever, ever be a part of God teaching that a sin that is one of the 7 deadly sins is appropriate for anybody. That's your shame you're going to have to carry. You can laugh it off and mock me all you want to try and do, but there are the facts for you. Like it or not, love me or not, you don't like me, well, you want to keep pushing my buttons and say you're afraid of me. Well, maybe someday I'll give you something to be afraid of. At this point, I haven't. But if you do fear, like I say, keep looking over your shoulder, because if I were you, I would too. When you're doing something wrong, you should wait until that catches up with you. It's going to hurt, buddy. Don't you understand? You're hurting yourself. You're deceiving others. You're not deceiving yourself. You know where your heart lies, you know. So, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. I hope you have a really wonderful night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Oh, one other thing. Anybody else fearless enough to put your address out there and physically challenge anybody in a sparring match if they hate your guts? Well, I do. Every single video. Here I am. You hate me? Prove it. Well, I don't like you very much either, so, the feeling's mutual. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you being here. Have a lovely night or day. Later.